Hey everybody, it's Dave Ward here, and I'm looking a little scruffier than usual, and the reason for that is that today is January 18th, 2017 when I'm filming this, and I ski a lot in the wintertime, and especially in January I do a guys trip. This year we went to Big Sky, Montana with a whole bunch of coaches actually, and then I do a trip with my brothers and my stepdad where we go up to British Columbia and go heli skiing, which is a lot of fun and kind of crazy, and not something that I've done my entire life. This is stuff that I've been able to do because I've worked really hard and built my Beachbody business. Going on those trips was really a big piece of why I got involved in this business. My thing is to be able to do the things I want to do when I want to do them. For those of you who don't know, I practiced law for almost 10 years before I was a full-time Beachbody coach, and I couldn't go on trips like that. I just couldn't get the time off. I remember I had one law firm that I worked for that I had 3 weeks total vacation, none of which could be consecutive. So I couldn't go on a 2-week vacation during the course of a calendar year. And these people were treating me like a slave. And so while I was making decent money, I didn't have time freedom. And so that's really why I got involved as a coach. What I tell you that for is to give you an idea of where to start with why you're here as a coach. I'm going to share with you in a minute something we call a sharing cycle, and explain some basic concepts of how our business works and some best practices that you can use in order to build this business. But I'm just going to tell you this, if you don't know why you're doing it, it's not going to last very long. Pretty soon, something is going to come along that's going to get in your way. You probably have already experienced this in fitness, right? If it's not really important to you, pretty soon you're just going to be sitting on the couch watching Lost or Game of Thrones and eating pizza. That's how everything in life works. You have to have a really big why in order for things to really click. That's mine. It hasn't always been that way. When I first started this business, the first thing I wanted was a triathlon bike. I wanted a TT bike. I had gotten really into triathlon, and I had an old metal road bike that was heavy and slow, and I wanted to be like all the cool kids on their fast road bikes. And at the time, didn't have the money for that. Didn't have the discretionary money to go plunk down $3,500, $4,000 on a bike. When I was really struggling to build this business. And so that became my big why, was I wanted to be able to get to a point where I had the discretionary money to be able to afford that bike. So paying all my bills first, and then I get my toy. And that really drove me for the first, probably 6 months of my business. I really put my head down and I really focused, and I did exactly what I'm about to show to you in order to get that bike. Once I had the bike, things really changed for me, and I started to see this business as something bigger, not just something that I could maybe get some fun little toys with, but something that I could do that would really build a great future for my family. And the next thing I started to do was I took all those paychecks, which I had just went and bought a bike with, and I started putting them in a college fund for my kids. And I since I was I was practicing law at the same time, so I didn't need the money. I didn't have as much money as I thought I had back then, but I didn't need those Beachbody paychecks every single week. So what I did was I took them and I put them in college funds for my kids. And it was really surprising to me at the end of that year to sit back and look and go, oh my gosh, look how much money I've stuffed into a kid's college fund, when I think I was 36 at the time. I hadn't saved a dime for my kids up until that point. So it became a really bigger thing for me, and it became, a way to provide, for my retirement, my kids' college, and really make a career doing something that I just frankly love. So anyway, that's a little background on why we're here. Let's talk about the sharing cycle and some best practices. So first things first, you're going to need to keep 2 lists. I don't care how you keep them. If you're a computer person, great. Put them on a computer. Suggest you use something like Google Drive or Evernote so you can have it on your phone as well, because it's a list you're going to use a lot. If you're like me, when I was practicing law and doing this business at the same time, you're probably working on your phone a lot. I know, I used to make time where I would just kind of disappear, and I'd tell my secretary I was going to Starbucks. I'd go down to Starbucks and I'd sit on my phone, and back then Twitter was really, really hot and active, and I got on Twitter, and that was what I would do, is I would tweet with people. How would I keep track of all those people on Twitter? Well, I had a list. I had just a piece of paper that I kept in my back pocket that had their Twitter handles on it, and then like some little notes next to it, maybe the program that they were doing, or whether how many times I talked to them, if I thought this person might be great for certain things. So I had some little notes next to all their name, and if I knew their real name. That was the other thing. Like on Twitter, so one of the reasons I got away from using Twitter was because it's so anonymous. It's like at I don't know, bird dog or something like that. You're like, I don't even know your name, right? But if I found out their name, I would add their name on that little list. And so I used to keep 2 lists, and this is something that I was taught early on in this business. Again, I came to this business the way most people do, which is that I had no prior experience at all in network marketing or sales. And I had to have somebody teach me how to do this, and this is what they taught me how to do. So I'm sharing that with you. So I had 2 lists that I was really constantly maintaining. The 50 list and the 10 list. The 50 in play list. These are a name of about 50 people. My list had more names on it. I was like, okay, if talking to 50 yields a certain result down here, I'll talk to 100. And so my list was a lot longer than 50, but I suggest about 50 people who are on your active contact list. So these are people all right? And who are on your contact list. Then the second list is the Hot 10 list. The Hot 10 list is a shorter list. That's the one I actually carried around in my back pocket all the time. Because these are the 10 people who I felt like I had a pretty good shot of sponsoring as either a customer or a coach. And I'm going to talk about sponsoring in another video, but that's the way this works. We start with a large group and we narrow it down, and we do it through the sharing and sorting process. Most people will sort themselves out. So let me talk about how this whole process works. You have 50 people who are in play, all right? For those 50 people, I'm trying to add 10 new people to that list every single day. This might be somebody that you meet on Facebook or maybe on Instagram if you're in social. Maybe it's just a new person if you're a mom and you've got kids that play soccer, or you're in a church organization, or anywhere in your daily life. You go out and you go to a dentist appointment and you have a really great interaction with the dental assistant, and you happen to get their contact information, whatever that is. Maybe it's on Facebook or Instagram, and you add them to your contact list. So you can only really add somebody to your contact list if you have their contact information. If it's somebody that you met in passing on the street and had a conversation with and said, oh, look, you've got a puppy, how cute, can I pet your puppy? Yeah, and oh, hi, I'm Dave, and you're Bob, hey Bob, and I walk away without getting that person's contact information, I don't have any way to get a hold of them. So they're never gonna move through this process because I don't have their contact info, right? So you gotta get their contact information in order to add them to your contact list. And again, I told you about the Twitter list. My lists are a lot more detailed. I try to put in as much information as I have about that person. If it's Bob Smith, who I met from the puppy, okay, do I have Bob's Facebook? Great. Do I have is there an Instagram? Maybe I can go to his Facebook and find his Instagram, right? But a lot of people have those two things linked together. If you're active on Instagram, you can go to Facebook and find somebody's Instagram, friend them on Instagram. That's a 50 in play person, right? That's your contact list, okay? So about 10 people a day, right? That's what I want to be adding to my contact list. Then of that contact list, 2 people per day I want to share are either our business or the coaching. I'm sorry, either our fitness programs and supplements or the coaching opportunity. I'll be sharing that with about 2 people a day. So that's sharing, right? I'm taking 50, condensing it to 10. The Hot 10 list are people who say, oh, I'm really interested in that, right? That's the sharing process. I go from 50 down to 10. So once somebody says, hey, I'm interested, boom, they're on my Hot 10 list. Now, is it always 10 people? No, it fluctuates a little bit, but I want at least 10 people on that list. How do you get off of either of these lists? Either one. You sort yourself. That's how you get off of my list, is you tell me no. Okay, and here's what I do when people say no. I say, great, no problem. Thanks for taking the time to look at the information. If you ever change your mind, you know where to find me. I'll be here whenever you're ready. And if that's never, that's fine too. I don't boot them out of my life. I certainly don't chase them around. That's one of the big mistakes that people often make, is they've got somebody who they've shared with, and that person has sorted themselves out of this funnel. They have told you, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not interested in your health programs. I'm not interested in your supplements. I'm not interested in your business. Great. guess what? You're off my 50 in playlist. And if you were on my hot 10, you're off that one too. Why? Because you decided that you didn't want to do this thing. And I'm moving on. I'm not going to continue to talk to the same person over and over and over again about something that they said they're not interested in, right? You've got to move on. You've got to find a new person. So just take them off your list. It's fine. If they're interested, they know now, they have the information, they'll come back to you. Let me talk a little bit about this daily invitation process and sharing, and really using third-party tools. So a third-party tool is anything other than you that tells a story. All right. So a great example of that are all of the promotional videos that Beachbody has. So let's say you have somebody and they're interested in Shakeology. When I have somebody who's interested in Shakeology, I tell them that I like Shakeology, and I tell them usually a little bit of a story about how it's helped me. One of the things for me is I used to get sick all the time, and it was devastating. Like I'm that total, like you've probably seen like a meme about me, which is that I'm the person who's like in bed just destroyed. Well, you know, everybody else who's sick is up and walking around. Like I used to get so sick that I would just be in bed for days. And back when I was practicing law, I couldn't afford to do that because I had so little vacation time. I spent my vacation time being sick. When I started taking Shakeology and improved my immune system, I don't know what was in it that did that, but something triggered my immune system that I really don't get sick very often anymore. And when I do, it tends to pass really, really quickly. Actually, I was just on this ski trip and a few people got sick and they were sick for like 48 hours, not feeling well. It took me about 8. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because I take Shakeology every day. Anyway, so I usually tell people that story. I get their contact information, and then I say, let me follow up with some more detailed information for you to look at. I don't tell them that about the 70 fantastic ingredients that are in it. I don't talk to them about the specifics of any of that stuff. Okay, I simply tell them my personal story, and then I send them a third-party tool. That third-party tool, I love Darren O'Lean's videos because I think he's very passionate, and he's just this really good looking sort of Tarzan character who knows so much about Shakeology, and they do a really nice job of, in like a 4 to 5 minute video, explaining what Shakeology is and why it's superior to most other products that are on the market. So then, after I've done that share, right, with using that third party tool, it's time to follow up with that person. 5 to 7 follow-ups a day. If you add 10 new people to your 50 in playlist, and out of those people, 2 of them, at least 2 people per day, you invite, and then 5 to 7 follow-ups per day. 5 to 7 follow-ups per day. You will have a hot 10 list that's out of control. Because here's what happens. I meet you. I add you to my 50 list. Right? So now I've got you on my contact list. I find out whatever information I can find out about you, and then I ask you, would you be interested in looking at some information? Could be about the business opportunity. It could be about our products. I send you a third-party tool, right? So if it's Shakeology, I'm probably going to send you one of Darren O'Lean's videos, or like I love the Tony Horton in the checkout line video is hilarious too. Like if you have somebody who's comic, I think that's a great one. Or somebody who knows Tony is another sort of thing. If it's the business opportunity that I'm going to talk to somebody about, and I usually don't do that until they're already on our program, so I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to send them probably the introduction to Team Beachbody video, just a basic overview of what our business is about. That's what third-party tools really are. They're not designed to be comprehensive. They're designed to start a conversation. That conversation happens here when you follow up with them. That's when this conversation happens. So here's what I would do in that Shakeology instance. I would follow up with that. I'd share that thing with them. I would follow up with them, and I would say, hey, did you have a chance to look at the information I sent you? Simple question. If the answer was yes, great. What did you like about the information that I sent you? That's a kind of a leading question, but it's a really good question to ask, because they'll say, oh, well, I thought Tony Horton was really funny, and I couldn't believe how much stuff is in this shake. Great. Okay, great. So now I know what I need to talk about with them, right? It's probably the stuff that's in the shake. Now, I'm not a technical expert. I just drink this stuff. I love it. I know a lot about Shakeology, but if I can, again, direct them to a third-party tool. So if they ask me, okay, I've been hearing a lot about probiotics, and I know that it has probiotics in it. What probiotics are in it, and what are the benefits? I'm going to go to the Shakeology.com site and find an article for them, or even better, a video. People love watching videos. And I'm going to share that with them. Then what am I doing? I'm still following up. we're having a conversation, right? If they give me a cost objection, I'm trying to find out what's going on, right? We're having a back and forth conversation. They're now on my hot list. This is one of my hot list people. My goal is to take people from the hot list and move them down here to where I'm sponsoring them as a customer or a coach, all right? So it's about a conversation. If during that conversation, they say to me, you know what, I've looked at the information, I appreciate you sharing it with me, this is not for me. What do? They just sorted themselves out of this funnel. I do exactly what I told them, that's no problem, that's fine, I'll be here if you need me. But if they go off my 50 in play list, and if they made it to the hot 10, they're off that list too, because they sorted themselves out. This is why you need a list with 50 people on it that you condense to 10, because a lot of these people are just going to sort themselves out. If you were talking about the coaching opportunity, it's the same thing. A lot of people will just sort themselves out of this funnel, and you won't deal with them. That's why this says your 50 and 10 lists are active. It's not a passive list that I make once, right? It's a list that's constantly evolving, all right? And again, like if you're gonna use a computer, use something that you can get to with your phone, either Google Drive or Evernote or something similar to that that has that kind of functionality. I'm a desktop person personally, but again, I used my phone for a really long time when I was building this business and working a full-time job. Okay, let me talk a little bit about coaches and how coaches move through this process. For me, that's a little bit different than the customer process, because I believe that in order for people to be really effective coaches, so beyond a discount coach, I'm just talking about somebody who we have this conversation with and they start to talk to you about it being really, really expensive, and you say, well, you can get a 25% discount if you become a coach. That's not a really productive coach. We have a lot of those people, and I don't have any problem with a discount coach, somebody who legitimately just wants to save a little bit of money on their health and fitness solution and stick with it, and maybe it keeps them in the game longer. I think that's fantastic, all right? But that's not going to be a productive member of your team who's going to help you build an organization that's going to give you the sort of time freedom that I'm able to enjoy now after having done this for almost 9 years now, all right? So productive coaches, most productive coaches, there's anomalies. I've sponsored people on day one who have gone crazy and done great things, but I will tell you the vast majority of the productive coaches on my team were customers first. So when I'm doing this whole process, I'm really focusing on getting more customers, adding people to this customer experience, and then helping them get the results that they want. Because when people get results, that's when they're going to become a coach. All right? That's the way this whole thing works. People need a belief system, okay? One of the things that's really fundamental to understand is that in sales, what we do is we transfer belief to other people, all right? It's really simple. If you think about it this way, have you ever recommended a bad restaurant? I'm just gonna get some water here. My guess is no. I don't send people to bad restaurants, right? If anything, I tell people not to go to a bad restaurant, right? But when I find a really, really great restaurant, I was telling a story last night, there's a great restaurant in Portland called Pok Pok. It's kind of this Asian fusion place, and it's amazing, and there's a line around the block to get into this place, but it's totally worth it because it's amazing. And what do I do there? I just transfer my belief that it's really, really good to you. So if you're in Portland, you might look up Pok Pok, okay? It's the same thing with our products and with our business. People have to experience Shakeology in order to share Shakeology with other people. People have to experience however many 36 plus fitness programs that we have via Beachbody On Demand. They don't have to experience all 36. They need to have a great experience with one of them though, at least one of them. And then they need to think about, hey, maybe I want to move on and do the next one. Maybe I just finished Core to Force. Now I want to move on and I want to do P90X3 or any of the other programs, right? Why? Why did they do that? Because they got great results. Once they have that belief in their mind that we have fantastic products that really make a difference in people's lives, then they can start to do this. And they can start to walk these people through that sharing and sorting process to get them to become customers. And they can do it in a way that makes them feel good about it. Just think about it. Your experience, you know what we have works. So it's okay to share it with people. You feel good about it because you know that even if And you can't just worry about how many people are going to say no, right? You have to worry about the smaller group of people who say yes, and sponsoring them as a customer and really coaching them, helping them get the most out of their fitness programs. And then they're on my hot 10 list a lot of times. You know, if it's somebody that I'm working with and I've been working with them for a while and they're getting really great results, and if I have them in a Facebook group, which is what most of us do, if I have them in my challenge group and they're participating and they're super active and they're having fun and they're enjoying it, you bet they're on my hot 10 list. And I'm going to go to them and I'm going to ask them a simple question. And that simple question is, have you thought about being a Team Beachbody coach? That's the way that I lead with my customers. I say to them, have you thought about becoming a Team Beachbody coach? Almost without exception. I mean, I can't remember the last time somebody told me, no, I've never even thought about it. Because that's not what happens. When people get that far along in their fitness journey, they've gone, Beachbody is out there. They've gone to teambeachbody.com. They've clicked on that Be a Coach button. They've watched a third-party tool. Teambeachbody.com itself is a third-party tool. It tells that story about being a coach. I don't have to, right? So then what am I doing? They've probably already seen the information. If they haven't, and they say, you know, I've actually have thought about it, but I don't know anything about it. Great. Can I send you some information about that? Always asking for permission. I think that's really important in our businesses. Like always asking for permission. Can I send you some information about it? Would it be okay with you if I sent you this, would you look at it? Would you take some time with it, right? It's always asking for permission. If they tell me I haven't seen anything about, I'm gonna send them a third-party tool about the coaching opportunity. And I have a Google Drive document where I just have all of the links to all those things. Kind of my favorite third-party tools that I share with people, whether it's about Shakeology or whether it's about the coach opportunity. But I'm sending them something to look at. Then what am I doing? I'm following up. Remember follow-up? This is like the fortune is in the follow-up. This is where the money happens, right here. That's the magic, the follow-up, okay? The fortune is really in the follow-up. Then I'm following up with them, and what am I saying? Hey, did you have a chance to review that information? Yes. Great. What did you like most about what I sent you? And learning more about the coach opportunity. And then I shut up and listen. I don't keep talking. Sorry guys, I just gotta take another sip of water. I don't keep talking at that point. I listen. Because they're gonna tell you what their need is. And you're gonna help them fill their need. Right? So if somebody said to me, you know, I really like that I can use this to build a little bit of a side income for myself. I said, great. Well, tell me more about that. If you had an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, what would you do with it? Some of them say, like I did, well, you know, actually, I haven't saved any money for my kids, and I really want to start saving for them. Well, what am I going to? I'm going to tell them the story about that I told you earlier about how that's exactly what I did. Some of them are going to say, you know, I really would like to go on a vacation, right? And I can't afford it. Okay, great. Here's how we can do that, right? Some of them are going to say, you know, I'm buried in debt and I need to get out of the debt. Okay, great. Let me show you the plan, right? Other people are going to say, I really have had so much fun in your group. You've helped me so much. I've gone so far. I would love to help other people do this same thing. Great. Let me show you a plan. But I'm focusing on their answer. Right? So if somebody says to me, well, I think I need to make some side income here, I don't respond and say, yeah, and it's a great way to help people. And it's super fun. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what they talked about. So I've had coaches, speaking of fun, I've literally signed people up by talking to them about Summit. That's the response. They go, you know, I've seen you guys at Summit working out with the trainers. Would I get to do that if I was a coach? That looks amazing and super fun. Absolutely. And by the way, we were just here in January, a couple weeks ago, Tony Horton was here in San Diego, and we got to spend the day with Tony Horton. How awesome is that? I've literally signed people up because that's what they want. And what this business is about and all this stuff is about is not you. It's about the people who get on these lists and helping them achieve their goals and live healthier and more fulfilling lives. That's our mission statement, okay? This is not about Success Club points or elite points for those of you who are a little bit further along. This is about finding people to help. And this is the process that you do it with. You get 50 in play and narrow that down to a hot 10 list. And you keep these things active. You keep moving people through this. You keep sharing and letting people sort themselves. Some sort themselves out of this, some sort themselves right to here. It's up to you to keep repeating this process. The more people you add to the 50 list and your hot 10 list, the more people will end up down here as customers and eventually coaches. That's how this whole thing works. That's what I was taught to do way back in 2008 when I started this business. And that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years. And I just keep repeating this process. Keep repeating this process. I've gotten better at it. Okay, it took me some time. It'll take you some time too. But I've gotten a lot better at it over the years. And now I'm really comfortable doing this, and it's just kind of a daily activity. It's really second nature to me now to add people to my list, and I've got my contact list, and I've got my hot 10, and I know who my people are, and I'm constantly adding people, and that's exactly what you need to do. So if you have questions about this, go ahead and either, if you're watching this on on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and comment below. If you are watching this via the email list that I have for the coaches on my team, just hit reply to the email and you can get a hold of me and ask me any questions that you have. And I'd also appreciate it if you have a team of people already. If you're a coach, you're just watching this and you've got a team, a group of people, go ahead and share this video with them if you found it helpful. I think, this is not rocket science, and again, this is not something I came up with. It's something that I was taught and that a lot of people have taught other people. So certainly not like proprietary info that I'm, exclusive to our team. Go ahead and share it with your people if you found it helpful. And I hope you have a fantastic day. And now I'm going to go and pack for my next ski trip. All right, guys, have a great one.